The gold market was caught by surprise this month when it saw purchases from the central banks of Poland and Hungary. So is this move telling us something? We have Jeffrey Christian of CPM Group with us today on the sidelines of the Silver and Gold Summit here in San Francisco. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
So we saw the unusual suspects, I guess, players enter the central bank gold buying game here, Poland and Hungary. Did this surprise you?
It didn't surprise me per se. I mean, I didn't know that those particular countries were going. But what we've been seeing really over the last year or two, and what we've been writing about over the last year or two, is the fact that other, central banks other than Kazakhstan, Russia, and China are showing renewed interest in gold. Turkey, I guess, took the lead in terms of actual buying starting last year and started buying for its own account after something like 27 years of not buying any gold. And other central banks have also been looking at gold really for the last several years. And I think that what you saw last month was I think it was a little bit indicative that at least the Polish and Hungarian central banks see this as a good time to buy gold in terms of the gold prices and the dollar exchange rate.
Is it a signal of a currency crisis?
It's not a signal of a currency crisis. It's a signal that a lot of people think that the dollar is overvalued, and the dollar is at exchange rates that are higher than a lot of people expected. And so you've got, with maybe 75-80% of your foreign exchange reserves in US dollars, you're as a central bank like Poland and Hungary, you're very top-heavy exposure to the dollar. And with the dollar looking overvalued and being more highly valued than most people thought, you want to lighten up your dollar exposure. In the meantime, you don't want to go into euros.
Is it putting a dent in supply?
It's not putting a dent in supply, but what you'll see is that the central banks will buy. They'll take up extra excess. You know, you've seen some weakness over the last few months in investor demand for gold. And what central banks are more price sensitive than private investors. So they'll buy on the dips, whereas a lot of private investors only buy when the price is rising.
Jeff, usually when we talk gold investing, we talk long-term, but you know, in my recent interview with you, you said even on a short-term basis, investors can benefit.
Yeah.
Can you give us examples of how?
Well, we're giving a talk today here, and we're talking about some of the option strategies that we will produce and sell to clients or manage for them, as well as some of the spot gold and things. And we are posting spot gold trades now on GoldX app. And for example, 2 weeks ago, we posted a buy signal for gold with the idea that it could rise to 1240 or so over the next 5 days. It rose to that level in 2 days, and we said, okay, take your profits and stand aside for a while. That was $15, 1.3% return in 2 days.
Switching gears now, talking silver. We've had some speakers here saying that they wouldn't be surprised if silver were to fall to $10 an ounce. Mm-hmm. What do you make of this bearish talk surrounding silver?
I would be surprised to see silver fall to $10. Our view is that it's probably well supported above $14.80, $15 or so, and that you could see the price rise. It's more likely to rise. I think there's a lot of fabrication demand, and there's also a lot of latent investment demand, so that I think that any price weakness like we saw in August will probably be matched with buying and keep the price from falling back as far as $10.
There's a lot of talk in our precious metals community that there's rumors, I guess, that JP Morgan is buying huge amounts of silver. I don't know if you've seen these news items floating around on certain blogs. Do you have any insights here?
My doctors tell me not to read those websites. The real market, the real silver market isn't talking about that and isn't seeing it, and it'd be highly unlikely that JP Morgan would be buying silver given where they are in their commodity business these days. Even when they did buy silver in the past, they bought it for their clients, and they didn't necessarily have a large proprietary book.
Jeffrey Christian, always appreciate your insights and thoughts. Thank you for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We'll have much more for you on Kitco.com.